previous video, we have seen how to read multiple values. If you haven't seen our previous videos, please do watch the Python basics playlist in our channel. Okay, let's continue the video. In the previous video, we have seen how to read multiple values. When you try to observe that, there is some issue with that. Let me show you what is the issue with reading multiple values in the previous case. Here in this line number 1, you can see that we are reading multiple variables, right, by using the same method that we have used in the previous video, by using input method. By using input function and dot split method, we are trying to read multiple values in the previous video. Like here you can observe that we are trying to read A, B, C variable values by using the input function. So when the user enters 1, 2, 3, due to the split function, they got splitted into the separate 1, 2 and 3 values and replaced in the corresponding variables. Here in the variable A, you can see that when I try to print the variable A, B, C, you can see that here in the variable A, we can see we have stored it has stored the value 1. In the variable B, it has stored the value 2. In the variable C, it has stored the value 3. Okay, this is fine. We have achieved the concept of multiple variables. But the question is here, when you try to print the type of variable A, type of variable B and type of variable C, you can see that the type of variable A is string, type of variable B is string and type of variable C is string. So this is the issue, right? Because we are trying to enter the integer values. But in the output, due to the input function only reads the string type, and this dot split method also works on string, right? Because as I said previously, this input function only reads the string value, that is single string value. So as it reads the single string is now split into 3 different strings here, like this. As the user enters 1, 2, 3, it is treated as a single string, and the single string is now split into 3 different values. But when you try to observe that, these 3 different values are now even strings, because basically they came from strings, and when you split a string, you will only get a string. So these are also strings. So that is the issue. Here you can see that the type of A, type of B and type of C, we are getting that it is a string type, right? But actually we need them to be integers. So what should we do? The default way to convert a string that is read from the user into integer is just by type converting them. We can see that we have seen the concept called type converting, right? In this line you can see that we are trying to convert the variable A, which is containing the value 1, into the integer. That is, when you write this line, when you try to type convert the variable A, the value present in the A to an integer, the one which is a string previously is now replaced by an integer value in the same container A. So this is how we type convert, right? In the previous case we have seen that, right? So in the same way we have to type convert the variable B and type convert the variable C, and then when we type convert them, they will turn into as integers, and then we can see the output right here. When I am trying to print the type of A, type of B and type of C, you can see that we are getting the integer types. So this is the only way that we can do. So let me try to draw the entire procedure that we followed to read multiple variables which are of integer types. Okay. First, due to the input function, we are reading a single string. And then we are trying to use dot split method to convert into multiple strings. And then we are trying to apply type conversion to convert the multiple values into our required format. So this is the entire process that we have followed to read multiple values of different type that we want. So this is the procedure. Then when you try to observe this line number 10, I have a concern here, right? But let me try to show my concern here. In this line number 10, you can see that we are using 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, right? We are using 4 lines. What if here we are using 3 variables? So that's the reason we converted the 3 variables in the 3 lines. This is okay, right? At most you can write 4 lines, that's fine. But what if you want to read some 100 variables or some 1000 variables? So what if you want to read multiple variables, more than some 10 to 20 variables? How could you read? If you write 20 lines here, if you write 20 lines like this, that would make your code clumsy, right? Because writing the same statement again and again for every input variable, it will make your code pretty clumsy or ugly, because it's not an efficient way to do that. So is there any other way to combine this thing into a single line? That is, in the previous case we have seen that when we are trying to read a single variable, what we tried to do, we tried to convert the single variable just like this. We used this int of input of process to read a single variable directly into an integer. But is there any way to read multiple variables and then confine the type conversion part into single line? There is some way to convert like this. Let us try to see what is that way. The only way to convert the multiple variables in the same line to another required format, either than string, is to use a map function. The map function is a function that is used to map the given values or map the set of values into required format. And please understand that this definition of map function that we are explaining here is only confined when you are trying to read variables, but the real use of map function is different. We can understand the real use when you are discussing the function concept, but here we use map function to convert the list of values into required format. Okay, let us try to understand what's happening here. Here when you try to see, we are trying to read three variables a, b, c, and keeping the map function part aside first, let us try to see from inside, right? Okay, here what we are trying to do here, we are trying to read the input from the user. We are prompting the user to enter three values, and here when you try to observe, we are trying to split based on space. Why space? Why not comma like in the previous case? Because we are trying to enter the values separated by space. Here you can see that we are entering the values 1, 2, 3 separated by space. We can see that there is space in between. So in this case we are using space, whereas in the previous case we have used a comma. So that's the reason we are trying to split the input string based on the space, because these are separated by space, whereas in the previous case these are separated by comma. So that's the reason we are using the comma to split. So this is what we are doing here. Okay, keeping that aside, let us try to understand this line number 12 in detail. Here you can see that we are reading the input from the user and we are providing a prompt, enter ABC value. You can see the prompt here, and then we are trying to split by using the space. The user have entered the value. Let us assume the user have entered the value 1 space 2 space 3. So what will happen? The value in the input function is 1 space 2 space 3, and when applying the split method, what will happen? The values 1, 2 and 3 got separated, right? As I said previously, these are separated as some list of values, right? We have seen this output in the previous video. Please do watch that video to understand this concept clearly. So now let us try to see what does the map function do. As I said previously, the map function is used to take the list of values, that is here we are passing list of values, and then what we are trying to do, please observe that we have passed some int here. Actually what's our plan? Our plan is to read the multiple variables in the integer format, right? So that's the reason I'm trying to pass integer as the first argument. The first argument is nothing but the first value of the map function. You can see that we are passing int as the first value of the map function, and then separated by comma we are passing the second value. The second value here is nothing but a list, right? As I said previously, the second value is list. Why I'm calling it as list? Because the input string is splitted based on comma and then converted into the list of values, that is 1 space 2, that is 1 comma 2 comma 3 as a list of values. So that's the reason the second value that we are passing is list, and the first value that we are passing to this map function is int, because we want to convert the list of values into an integer values, that is we want to convert 1 into integer, 2 into integer, 3 into integer. So that's the reason we are using the map function here. If you want to convert them into float values, then you should just have to use map of float comma list of values. So that list of values, so by using this line we can convert the list of values into corresponding float values. So let us try to see what will happen here. Here, due to the map function and we are converting integer type, the values that are stored in the ABC value are integers. How I am saying they are integer values? Due to the map function they are converted into integers. Let us see whether they have got converted or not. Let us try to print the variables. We can see we have printed the type of variables right here. We have printed the type of A, type of B and type of C by using the dot format method. We have already discussed how to print the output by using the dot format method. To watch that part, please check the previous videos. Okay, keeping that aside. So let us try to see. We can see the output right here. We can see that the class integer, class int and class int. So this is the procedure to read multiple variables